Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. With me are my packed legal journalist Ava Santina, TalkTV presenter Tice, and TalkTV contributor Paula Rhone-Adrien. Well, you were steamed up last night about this, and it was actually, you made some great points. Richard, not had your view on this yet. What is your view? Where are we on this Russell Brand scandal?
I'm not a Russell Brand fan at all. I think he's vulgar. Frankly, I think a lot of what he said and does has been absolutely vile. My question, though, is that you've got this very serious investigation that's taken a very long time. I was slightly surprised that they didn't immediately pass their files to the police, and also, as far as I'm aware, the four alleged victims in this have not yet made a complaint to the police, although that may have changed in the last.
I think another woman has come
someone
forward
else has
who has gone straight to the police.
I just find that strange, odd.
Well, Paula, you've been in family law. Do you find that strange?
Not at all. I don't find that strange at all. And Richard, this is one of the myths that we need to bust. The fact that somehow the victim is not a victim if they don't report the alleged crime within a certain period of time. That's simply not true. Remember, for the survivor, and I do prefer the word survivor, of abuse, they live that every day. This isn't about what happened last week or a year ago or 2 weeks or 2 years ago. It's what's happened to them and they live it every day. And the fact that they are strong enough to come forward today or tomorrow is not something that should be questioned or judged.
Oh, well, hang on, Paula. Paula, here's what I would say to that. We had this debate last night, but I'm going to say it again, because I've written a column for The Sun about this. I have a problem when we use language like victims and survivors when this is an ongoing process, because it implies we've already reached a guilty verdict, that this man is guilty of crimes, these are his victims, and they are survivors. To me, they're accusers. And I would say the same if it was male accusers. We had all this with Cliff Richard, where a male accuser accused him of sexual assault turned out to be complete nonsense, by which time Cliff Richard's reputation trashed, BBC flying over his house, he eventually won a lawsuit. But the language is important. We have a situation where people have made very serious allegations. If Russell Brand is found guilty of these, then absolutely throw the book at him. But is he not entitled at the moment to at least have the language tempered around these allegations?
So I'm not specifically referencing Russell Brand, and I can't because it would be inappropriate for me to do so. We are talking about allegations. There's been no arrest yet. There is an ongoing investigation.
Normally what happens...
I just want to answer your question, Piers, about you being uncomfortable with the language. I'm not uncomfortable with the language. I choose to use the word survivor, and that's what I'll continue to do. And let me explain to you why. Because we know that sexual assaults are underreported, be that male or female survivors. Yep. We know that, it's accepted. Yep. And when you look at incidences of non-reporting, let me explain to you, 1 in 2 rapes are committed by a partner or ex-partner. 6 out of 7 of those are perpetrated by somebody who the person knew. What you have in a situation where you are dating somebody, where you know somebody, where you are flirting with somebody, is you are incredibly embarrassed on top of the pain and suffering that you've had.
I get all this.
No, I get all this.
Normally when criminal
I also interviewed an 18-year-old boy earlier this year who was put in remand in prison for 2 months, accused of being a rapist. It turned out the woman who accused him was a total fantasist, who caused her own injuries and is now languishing in jail, by which time his house has been daubed with rapists and so on. So that's why I think you've got to be careful. you've been very patient, Ava, specifically about the corporate meltdown that's going on with Russell Brand. YouTube have now said, well, he can leave his videos up there so they can make money from it, but he can't make any money from advertising. Does that seem right and proper to you?
Well, I use YouTube every day. It's one of our main platforms, and actually that money would just be held for him. So if he's then found innocent or found not guilty or he's cleared, then YouTube can re-grant him access to that pot. So he's actually not losing any money, it's just being stored in a pot. Basically, what YouTube have said is, you put out a video denying allegations and you had a little donate button on there, and we're not comfortable, Google aren't comfortable with that, so they've taken away his ability to monetize it. I also want to talk about the lad culture, because I think we were talking about this upstairs. I think the big problem on social media, and the reason that it's had the reaction that it has, a lot of people defending Russell Brand, is because a lot of men felt vindicated by that lad culture that was going on in the 2000s, that real tabloid, dirty, treating women like filth, lad culture. And I think a lot of men are now worried that they're going to have their actions reassessed by people in their lives who were there during that time. And I think there's kind of this defence of him is coming from that place of, oh, if they're going for him, they're going to come for me as well.
Possibly. I think that's possible. I don't like the extremities on either side of this debate. I don't like the ones who want to immediately convict and hang him. I don't like the ones saying it's all a conspiracy. He's being stitched up by mainstream media. We've run out of time. Thank you, Pat. Great to see you. I've got to mention your earrings, which are fabulous.
Oh, bless you.
That's it from me. What are you up to? Keep it uncensored.